later picked up for £50,000 by Vivian. The land came with outline planning permission for a 3-bedroom detached house, but she was hoping to get this changed.
I'm going to see whether or not it's worthwhile applying for planning permission for 2 semis. If I think there's a chance, I will do that, and if I don't get it, I'll appeal it.
15 months later, it all looks very pretty, but shouldn't there be a house of some description somewhere in that snow?
Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
It looks as though the plans didn't go to plan.
Originally, we couldn't find the plans. Planning office hadn't got any trace of what had happened here. So that took a few weeks to sort out, and then we did then get the plans, and we found out the planning history of what had gone on here, and that goes back 20 years, does the planning history, when 2 semis were refused planning permission 20 years ago.
Lots of things can change in 20 years, and just because the planning permission for 2 semis was turned down then doesn't mean it will be now.
I put in plans for 2 semis, which was rejected. I put a second lot of plans in for 2 semis, and again that was rejected. Planning permission was refused on overdevelopment of the site. Because there's just a small access road here, they didn't want more than 1 property on this piece of land.
Vivian's dreams of building 2 semi-detached houses here have been twice turned down by the planners, but there was still hope. The land was sold with outline planning permission for 1 3-bedroom detached house. Detailed plans of the house would still need planning approval. Was Vivian tempted? After all, she and her husband George were ready to roll their sleeves up and get stuck in.
I said to the architect, start doing the plans for a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom with a garage on more or less the same footprint. He spoke to the planners, and we were told that if we put those plans forward, they would be passed. That evening at home, I thought, I might just try selling it. So I went on the internet and put 1 advert on a free internet site, and I got 4 replies within about 10 days. The second person I brought to look at the land said she would like to buy it, and I sold it to her basically for £25,000 more.
So, after all her toing and froing with the planners, Vivian decided to pull out of the project and put the land back on the market. And that offer of £25,000 more than she'd originally paid for it seemed too good to refuse. However, a condition of the sale was that it wouldn't complete until the new owner had gained planning permission. But why the change of heart?
Probably, had the market not gone into such decline, I would have stuck out. I would have appealed the decision for 2 semi-detached houses. And if I'd lost that appeal, I would have built a detached house. And I think if we go back 5 years ago, you would know that you could spend £150,000 on a build and get £250,000 for it. But you just don't know now, so...
Vivian's a shrewd businesswoman. After paying around £3,000 in fees, she'll potentially make a pre-tax profit of around £22,000. But has this experience put her off property developing?
No, because basically I've probably spent a day, 8 hours perhaps, between going to the auction, going to the solicitors to sign the papers and showing the land to 4 people.
Vivian bought this land for £50,000 and has accepted an offer of £75,000, with the sale dependent on the prospective new owner gaining planning permission. The new owner asked and paid for Vivian's architect to complete the detailed drawings for a 3-bedroom detached house, which have been submitted to the planners. So has she negotiated a good deal? What do 2 local estate agents think?
I'm of the opinion, now that I've seen the land and the site and the proposed plans, it would be something unusual. I would actually go ahead and build the house because it would be unusual for the area and therefore maximising the profit.
I think that any planning consent for a detached property on this site is not the right way to go. In my view, to optimise the site, one of the planning consents for two-bedroom semi-detached or 2 3-bedroom semi-detached would be optimum.
And Vivian agreed, but as she found out, she couldn't get permission to build 2 semi-detached properties here.
The land with planning permission for a 3-bed detached house, in my opinion, would be worth somewhere in the region of between £75,000 and £80,000.
In my view, the site with planning consent for a large 3-bedroom house is probably worth something in the region of £30,000 to £35,000.
What? You've got to be joking. 30 to 35 to build a 3-bedroom detached house.
Vivian has already got a very good offer for £75,000. If the plans for a 3-bedroom detached house were passed and the house built, how much do the experts think it would be worth?
Detached large 3-bedroom house would probably sell for a figure in the region of £240,000. However, to build that house would cost something in the region of £210,000.
You'd be looking somewhere in the region, anything between £200,000 and £210,000.
Well, I would say, in my opinion, a house here could be worth anything between 220 and 320.
If the 3-bedroom house was built, would there be any mileage in renting it out?
I would estimate something in the region of £800 to £850 a month would be an appropriate figure.
Very popular area for rental. If you were to rent the house out as a 3-bed, new build, furnished, you'd be looking somewhere in the region of anything between £900 and £1,100 a month.
Yes, I would expect to get between 900 and 1100 in rent.
Well, since filming, the plans have been approved and the sale has gone through. So, Vivian bought a plot of land for £50,000 and sold it on for £75,000 without actually doing anything to it, showing that sometimes not developing can still make you money.
Well, plenty to think about there. Now, did those stories inspire you and whet your appetite?
Well, we'll have lots more next time on Homes Under the Hammer.
We'll see you then.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.